So, guys, I've covered New York City maybe 3 to 4 times since I started my YouTube channel 10, 11 months ago. Okay, their mayor, Eric Adams, has always been a very interesting individual to me, and him winning is a phenomenon, in my opinion. Okay, because their former mayor, Bill de Blasio, was a far leftist, and the voters in New York City went more inward with Eric Adams. Now, Eric Adams, I wouldn't consider him as center at all, but it shows that the voters went more to the center by electing this individual who was a former captain or sheriff, whatever he was. He is now for the whole defund the police narrative and all the narratives created. They elected a former police officer, and again, him winning is a phenomenon in a whole bunch of ways. But secondly, because it shows that the progressive far left agenda, how popular really is it amongst the masses, even your own Democrat voters? And I want to talk about that because Eric Adams, now you have a lot of things going on in New York City. You have the New York Times, the workers protesting. Turns out these people are not so pro-union like they claim to be. And also a day or so ago in New York City, you had a incident where a guy was walking down the street and he hit another individual in the head with a bat. Okay, of course, I can't show that in this video because I've shown the fight before and they age restricted that video, but you can find it online. That incident with the bat seemed to be kind of personal because if you watch the full video, after the suspect hits the victim in the head with the bat, he kind of like stands over him, says a few things, but nevertheless, the suspect is released. He was released on bail, $7,500 via the girlfriend who paid that. Okay. So now, is that guy homeless? We don't know. But what we do know is that things like homelessness, crime, all tie into public safety. You have, feces attacks in New York City, people getting pushed in front of the subway. You know what you're going to do? You're going to make, first off, the quote unquote elites move out of New York City. So the city's going to lose money. You're going to lose money in terms of tourism. A lot of people are not going to want to go. Now, I want to react to this clip. Coming from CNN, Mayor Adams has to show up amongst the backlash, amongst the criticism, to defend his mental health initiative, which is basically rounding up the troops, the first responders, having these people approach the homeless and say, hey, you need evaluation. We can pull you in. We can take you here. You can take advantage of this social program, because you can't just sit in the streets and smoke crack. You can't do that. And, he's getting backlash, I guess, because it's almost like being a liberal, you support homelessness at this point. Leave it as is, and it'll just get worse in New York City. So I want to salute Mayor Adams for acting on these things. Again, this is Mayor Adams on the Michael Smerconish show. Let's get right into it.
America has a longstanding homeless problem. At least that's what we call it. I think it's much more complicated than a matter of shelter. And on last week's program, I gave credit to New York City Mayor Eric Adams for taking it on.
Yeah, and let me pause right here because again, more shelter. You hear this from a lot of Democrats. Nikki Fried, the one that was in Florida. Oh, we need more government housing, more government housing. That's not the cure. Okay. And then again, you heard this Michael Smerconish say America has a homeless problem. I mean, I would say it's mostly in blue states. Okay. I'm from the South, lived in my whole life until I had a brief stint living in California for 2 years. I didn't really see homelessness down south compared to a place like California and all the other blue states that I've traveled to. So it's coming from your policies. Let's just say that. So more government housing, and again, man, these people, man, let's just get right back into it. Let's play this clip.
Others are not so supportive of his efforts. The mayor himself will join me in just a moment. Adams has tasked first responders with enforcing a state law that was enacted in 2021, allowing them to involuntarily commit people experiencing a mental health crisis. The mayor called it a myth that the law only covered a, quote, overt act that the person may be suicidal, violent, or a danger to others. He said it also pertains to those whose illness, quote, prevents them from meeting their own basic human needs to the extent that they are a danger to themselves. I said last week that the same standard actually exists in theory all over the country. What sets Mayor Adams apart is his willingness to act on it. Mayor Adams said,
and let me pause right here. Mayor Eric Adams, for all these people that have TDS, They love copying the Trump approach, the Trump outlook when it comes to politics. Mayor Adams every other day doing the press conferences, doing, press briefings, posting it on social media. Some of these politicians even had their own YouTube channel. I wonder what did y'all get that, idea from recently, for a guy that y'all so-called hate so much, but you can't keep him out of y'all mouth. But, again, Mayor Adams, this guy, let's just get back into this clip, man.
Says we have a moral obligation to try and help, and yet his move immediately caused controversy. In an opinion piece for the New York Times, Anthony Almojero, a lieutenant paramedic with New York's Fire Department Bureau of Emergency Medical Services, wrote these words. In nearly 20 years as a medical responder, I've never witnessed a mental health crisis like the one New York is currently experiencing. During the last week of November, 911 dispatchers received on average 425 calls a day for emotionally disturbed persons. But dispatching medical responders to wrangle mentally disturbed people living on the street and ferry them to overcrowded psychiatric facilities is not the answer. He lists overworked responders, swamped hospitals, and the breach of trust that it will cause among the homeless population.
Well, what I have to say to that guy, that first responder that worked with the Bureau and all these flashy words, well, what is the answer? You just complaining. You let Eric Adams, this mental health initiative, let it play out. Let it be introduced. At least it's something, okay? And again, man, again, it sounds like being a Democrat, being liberal means you support homelessness almost. That's what it's coming across as. Eric Adams is acting on the previous status quo. He's trying to get something done, okay? But I mean, it's something, man.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams joins me now. Mayor, thank you so much for being here. As I said, you're getting lots of attention. It's mixed. When I looked at the directive, it occurred to me that your standard, are they at risk to themselves or others, is the same as any other city. It's just that you're acting on the authority you have. Is that a fair encapsulation?
Yes, it is. And it's a very clear one. And we should be clear. If we are saying, let's leave the status quo, those who are saying that, they're basically stating leaving people on the streets who cannot take care of their basic needs and they are in danger to themselves or others. That's inhumane. I am not going to do that. I'm going to make sure we give people the care they need and the care they deserve. And in many cases...
And I just had to pause right here, man, because again, the status quo, it has to be changed. It has to be shifted. If they're a danger to themselves, they might take themselves out on the street or take out somebody else, a tourist, somebody just walking past. So again, man, I want to salute Eric Adams for at least taking action on this. He could have sat back and did nothing, So, man, it's crazy to see this backlash and so-called criticism. He's going to talk about the loopholes because I did see brief parts of this clip. I haven't seen the whole thing. But I'm not seeing many loopholes if this policy, comes to fruition. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
They don't know they need that care because of their mental health illness.
Mayor, we know what it means to be a danger, to pose a danger to others. We can see that, threatening conduct, violent action. But it's much more of a gray area to try and determine when an individual is at risk to themselves. So how do we define that?
Well, there's clear training. We're using several ways of making a determination. First, based on the partnership we're having with mental health professionals. People continuously state the police are going to round up everyone with a mental health illness. That is just not true. And people are reading into
It sounds like I had to pause again. Sounds like Mayor Eric Adams is facing fake news. Okay. So again, he's a Democrat, but he's not going along with more homelessness. Again, do you want the whole New York City to be the whole America? I don't think, the progressive wing and all that, you're not popular at all, and rightfully so, because it's foolish. Okay? So, man, let's continue this clip.
To our statement. What we are doing, we're going to train our mental health professionals, our outreach workers, and our law enforcement officers to look and make a determination and then reach out to clinical professionals, either remote viewing or some form of telecommunication, telemedicine, to also assist in that determination on the street. Now, after that, it is made that this person cannot take care of their basic needs, they then go to the hospital where determination is made by a psychiatrist or psychologist. A professional will determine the next steps to be taken.
And that's the end of that clip. Let me go ahead and pause it because I know, yeah. So let me come back full screen because, man, Eric Adams, again, at least he's taking action. He's trying to get this initiative in place. How are, again, after all what he just said, what are the loopholes? Share in the comments. What are the loopholes? He's going through all these back channels, the psychiatrist, a physician, this and that. These people, you have a lot of people, they'd rather be out on the street, strung out on crack and just crisscross. There's a problem. So it's best to take them up, have them take their medicine, deal with the cognitive, the cognitive problems that they may have going on. And I saw a comment online that says, hey, it's better than the right trying to execute them. I've not seen any conservative come out and say, all because you are mentally ill, you should be put to death. Again, what you gonna point to somebody like Kevin McCarthy, okay, who's I've not seen it. So no, I don't think nobody agrees with that. But I want to salute Mayor Eric Adams for this policy. I think he has something with this policy in New York City, and hopefully other blue states take notice of this. Okay, there's a problem. You have to do something about it. Sending these people checks, more government housing. It's not going to work, okay? Show y'all thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. It's CJ. I'll see y'all in the next one.